Hey guys, welcome to my chair yoga for senior series. This is the first video of a 10-part series that I'll be doing for you guys. So really the main thing that you're going to need is a chair, obviously, and just a few things to think about when you're looking for the right chair. One, that when you sit on the edge, you can form a 90-degree angle with your legs. So there are ways around it. If you don't have the right chair, you can put your feet on a yoga block or a couple of books or whatever you can find that's not going to topple over under your feet. So go ahead and grab what you need, and we're going to get started. So to start, go ahead and separate your feet about hip distance apart, and you want to be seated on the edge of your chair so your glutes are supported and your legs are at about a 90-degree angle. So from here, just feel your connection to the earth, root down through your feet, and feel that length in your spine, and just start to roll your shoulders back and bringing your head back more in line with your spine. Sometimes we have that forward head posture and put a lot of weight on our shoulders and upper back. So just learning to, bring the head back and allowing it to be a little more supported. And we're going to start with Ujjayi Breathing. So with that nice long spine, go ahead and bring your hands onto your rib cage and go ahead and spread your fingers, just feeling like you have that awareness throughout your whole rib cage. And the key here is sometimes when we start to focus more on breathing, our shoulders can lift and we can become kind of tense in the upper body. So keeping that length in the spine and softness in the shoulders, let's go ahead and focus on some deep breathing to start, and also staying rooted through our feet. So we're gonna inhale and exhale through our nose. And just one more thing, as you breathe, you wanna feel your hands expand. You wanna really feel your rib cage fill up completely. So let's go ahead and get started, inhaling and exhaling through the nose. So let's start on a full exhale, and we'll take about 10 breaths together. So let's get started. Notice if those shoulders are lifting, and just relax those shoulders. Full exhale. And staying rooted through the feet, and keeping that spine long. And do about 8 more at your own pace. And just allow your jaw to soften, allow your abdomen to soften. And really keep that awareness in your hands. You want to feel your hands lifting and falling with every breath. Do about 5 more, just keeping the shoulders nice and relaxed as we breathe. And feeling your hands expand even more. And about 3 more now at your own pace. You're doing great. Just allowing that face to soften, allowing the jaw to be soft as you breathe. And 1 more deep breath together. And exhale. And just staying connected to our breath throughout our practice. Keeping the feet where they are, go ahead and bring your hands onto your knees, and we're going to do a few cat-cows in the chair. So on your inhale, your arms are going to be straighter, and as you exhale, you're going to bring your hands in towards your hips, and you're also going to open the shoulders. So I'll go ahead and show you, and whenever you're ready, go ahead and join me. So on the inhale, rounding. On the exhale, rolling the shoulders back, lifting the chest, opening. And go ahead and join me if you haven't already. Just spreading across the shoulders. It's helpful if you exhale as you lift the chest. Inhaling around And stretching the arms too. And exhaling, lift that chest. Let's do about 3 more at our own pace. And staying connected to our feet, rooting down through our feet, lifting through the chest. About 2 more. And 1 more. And we are going to do some arm stretches, so hopefully you can see me. So what we're going to do is you're going to feel this in your deltoids, mostly in the front of your arm. So go ahead and just reach back behind your chair, and you're basically just going to take note of what hand is grabbing which. So my left hand is grabbing my right wrist, and all you're going to do is just keeping the right wrist bound. Go ahead and just keep it connected to your low spine, and this really throughout our practice, just being mindful of staying rooted through our feet and really breathing into our whole body. So go ahead and with that right wrist bound, I'd like you to just start rolling your shoulders back and lifting your chest. This looks really easy, but it's a really deep stretch for the front of the arms. So just lengthening through the spine. We're going to take about 15 seconds here, lifting through the chest and rolling those shoulders back. The more that you lift the chest, the more you're going to feel it. But really let there be a softness in your low spine. Notice if you're hardening. And breathing into our feet. And go ahead and release. And you can just shake it out a little bit if you need to. And opposite side, so grabbing hold of the left, I think it's the left, it is, left wrist, and just allowing your hold to rest on your low spine, staying rooted through the feet. Go ahead and just lift that chest and rolling the shoulders back. And this is actually really good for anybody that lifts a lot. It's funny how simple this looks, but you can get a really deep stretch. So just lifting. And notice if you're tensing your neck, just soften your neck, soften your low spine. And it's really about effortless effort. So really committing to doing our best, but not giving effort to what's not needed. And go ahead and release. Sometimes when our deltoids are really tight, it can kind of force us to round our shoulders a little bit. So just taking care of our spine indirectly. Working into eagle arms. So we're just going to start warming up the arms a little bit more. So go ahead and just bring your right arm in front of you and staying connected through your feet. Go ahead and just start to push that arm towards your chest. So sometimes what I see is the shoulders move completely. So you want to keep your shoulders nice and straight. So really bringing that stretch into the bicep a little bit and just breathing, staying connected to your feet, staying connected through your feet. Release, and opposite side, keeping that spine long, bring the left arm over, and you might notice that one side is a little bit tighter. Just breathing. I'm kind of noticing my shoulders are moving up towards my ears. Just relax those shoulders, bring that left arm over, and release. And if you are ready, go ahead and bend that knee, so you're actually forming a 90-degree angle with your arm, and you're just going to start kind of exploring moving this arm over with that different position of the forearm. So just breathing. And I'd like you to engage your fingers and your toes. Just really bringing that loving awareness to, every part. And again, just notice if your shoulders are moving. You want to keep your shoulders nice and parallel to the wall in front of you. And release. And opposite side, go ahead and bend that left arm at a 90-degree angle. And just start working your way over. So eagle arms is actually a great way to stretch the upper back and the arms. So again, keeping the shoulders parallel. Just enjoying that stretch in the upper arm. Go ahead and spread through your fingertips, keeping your awareness nice and fresh. And release. And you should definitely be feeling it in the front of your arms at this point. So you can just shake it out a little bit. And coming into full eagle arms, go ahead and bring both of your forearms to a 90-degree angle. And you really want to engage your fingers here. So I'd like you to explore just wrapping your left arm underneath your right. And so what you're going to do is you're working towards wrapping your hand around so that it touches the palm of your opposite hand. So wherever you are, it could be here, it could be here even, if this feels right. You're spreading across your upper back, really enjoying that stretch. All right, staying rooted through the feet. Notice if you're clenching your abdomen, just relax that abdomen. And go ahead and release. And I had a yoga teacher that actually said this can be really good for relationships. So I will explain why when we do the other side. But 90-degree angle and opposite arm underneath. So right arm underneath. And so just notice if you're feeling disappointed in yourself or whatever you might be feeling about not being further along, and really let that go. That's not what yoga is about. It's about meeting ourselves where we are. So just exploring whatever position feels right. And if you do this every day, I guarantee that your hand is going to move closer and closer to your palm. And spreading across those shoulders. And so being in this position, it's like it kind of forces you to soften your gaze and see things from a broader perspective, which is really good for relationships. And just soften that face. Notice if you're leaning forward, keeping that length in the spine, drawing the shoulders back. Go ahead and release. Okay, so the next segment of our work today, we're going to start doing some core work. So I'd like you to really, the key here is keeping the spine engaged in a healthy way. So really keeping the spine nice and long and letting the core do the work. So sometimes when our core is a little weaker, we tend to overcompensate with the spine or the hip flexors. So just keeping the spine nice and long. And go ahead and you can find a hand position that's comfortable and just lift that right leg. And I'd like you to focus on just straightening that leg as much as you can. And wherever you're at, even if it's just a couple toes off of the floor, I want you to focus on keeping that spine long and really engaging your core. So this is going to be a lot more challenging with the leg totally straight. I'm definitely starting to sweat here. So just keeping that spine long. You can go back and forth if you want to explore that. And we're going to take about 10 more seconds. Whatever feels right, just keeping that spine long. Really roll those shoulders back. Keeping it in your core. Just allowing that spine to be supported. It's okay if the leg shakes. It's a good sign. And opposite side, go ahead and lengthen. Just start to explore straightening through that left leg. And this side, for some reason, was a little harder for me. So notice if you're attempting to just bring the shoulders to the leg, and that's not the point. So really just keeping the spine long, even if it's one toe off of the floor. Keeping that spine long and working towards bringing that leg straight. If you feel pain in your hip flexor, I definitely would encourage you to keep your knee a little bent. I have really sensitive hips. I usually kind of go in and out of this one. Another 5 seconds. You can hold, keeping that spine long. And release. And we're actually going to practice sitting up more mindfully. So coming to, eventually a standing position. We're not going to do a full standing position, but I want you to bring your legs to a 90-degree angle. And I just want you to feel what a healthy position to stand would be. And it really does require you to engage your core and your glutes. So with your legs at about a 90-degree angle, everybody's body is different. So a little less, a little more might feel better. But I just want you to keep that spine long and come forward. So what I see often is that when people stand, they kind of roll their shoulders forward. A lot of weight moves into the low spine. And this is good advice for literally anybody sitting up from a chair. So I just want you to, the work that we've been doing today, engaging our core, keeping the integrity of the spine, so keeping that spine long, I just want you to hinge forward. And I want you to roll the shoulders back, come forward as much as you can. You're gonna start to feel it in your hips. And on your way back up, you actually are gonna feel your glutes engage. So one more time, go ahead and just hinge forward. And just really hinging at the hips here, keeping the spine long, rolling the shoulders back. And on your way back up, you are going to feel your glutes press through your heels, really rooting down through your feet. And I want you to explore, we're not going to stand up all the way, but I want you to explore when you're at about a 45-degree angle with your spine. I want you to explore you can use your hands if you need to on the chair, but I want you to explore just standing up with this position and how much your glutes have to engage, how your core should feel strong. And so I just want you to come up maybe half an inch from the chair or a couple inches if you feel ready. You can use your hands for support. Coming down. So this looks really simple, but there's a lot more to it than it looks like. And just one more time. Keeping that spine long, hinging at the hips, and just standing up, pressing down through the feet. Come on down. If you want something a little more challenging, you can actually bring your feet together. And I know this isn't like for glutes, but this can actually be a great way to stimulate the glutes. So bringing your heels towards the chair a little bit more. The main thing in yoga, you never want your knee moving too far past your ankle, and you don't want your knee moving past your toes. So just be mindful. So bringing your left foot at about a 90-degree angle, depending on your body. Bring that right foot in, so you're kind of on your tippy toes, and you can feel this a lot more on each side, one at a time. So let's at least explore this if you feel like you're ready, and if not, then just do what we were doing. It's all the same work. So notice if you're starting to slouch, and that means that you do need to activate that core a little more. So just play with pressing up off the chair, engaging your glute, engaging your core. Do this a couple of times just to see. So there's very little pressure on the joints here. The muscles are activated in a really healthy way and can actually be a pretty good workout. So opposite foot, go ahead and bring that left foot in. So this inactive foot, or the foot that's behind it, there's not a lot of pressure on that foot. It's just for balance. So again, just notice if you start to kind of get into bad habits. I know I do. So rolling those shoulders back, keeping the spine long, pressing through the foot. And let's do a couple more on the side. So keeping the spine long, hinging at the hips, strong core here. And just one more. And you should definitely be feeling it in your glute. Go ahead and release. And so for our last position, just making sure that you're, you might want to scoot back on your chair a little bit, just making sure that you're nice and supported. And go ahead and separate your feet. If your hips are somewhat tight, then just start working your way out towards the outer edges of your yoga mat. And no matter where you're at, you want to form just a slight angle on the feet. So this opens up the hips in a really nice way. So just hinging at the hips, and come forward and trying to keep that spine nice and long. And you're gonna feel it in your hips and your groins. If you'd like a little bit more, go ahead and slide that right arm inside of the right inner thigh. And just using that leverage to encourage the knee to move back and the groin to open, you can bring that arm overhead. So if your arm is elevated, you can just bring that hand onto your hip and come on out. And opposite side, if you are involving the arms in this, just sliding that left arm along the inner thigh, bringing that right arm overhead. So letting that left arm encourage the hip to open a little more. And a couple more good breaths here. And pressing through the feet to come out. And that is it for our session today.
Join us for 14 and 30-day programs, hour-long classes, and much more on our yoga app, Yoga Plus by Psyche Truth. It's free to download and features a variety of wellness content, including yoga, fitness, Pilates, guided meditations, and interviews with dozens of wellness experts.